Is the Denver International Airport the headquarters of the Illuminati or other secret organizations? Are extraterrestrials living there? Has the government built a bunch of underground tunnels for a survival system in case of a nuclear war or global apocalypse? And if this underground tunnel system doesn't exist at the Denver International Airport, has the government in general built tunnels and stuff somewhere to prepare for a global apocalypse? Let's look into all that. Welcome to Trevor's Tarot Astrology and Spirituality. First of all, a huge thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who likes, watches, comments on the videos. If you've given money to the channel through the super thanks, buy me a coffee, Venmo, a huge thank you. Okay, so this rumor has been, or this conspiracy theory has been around for a while. Um, and I thought we'd just take a look. So let's start with, is is the Denver International Airport the headquarters of the Illuminati or some other secret organization? Some people have also thought that it's part of the New World Order, or it could be housing uh, people that have Nazistic beliefs. Denver International Airport, the headquarters. So there have been a lot of jokes with murals, and they even became the sister supernatural or the supernatural sister airport with Roswell, New Mexico, because of these rumors. Um, so they seem to be having a lot of fun with it, but is it true? So we get the Five of Swords. That would be a no card for the Illuminati question. With the star and the environment around, a lot of people are hoping it's true. The truth will be revealed in the upper right, so we have to keep going just to see what we get. A lot of mis and disinformation and toxicity in the environment around. That makes a lot of sense. At the center of the reading, hard work. If one plan doesn't work, try another. And we get moving away from troubled waters, the Six of Swords. We get unlikely partnerships with the Lovers card. We get ill health or needing to rest with the Four of Swords. And we get the Knight of Cups, emotional messages. So it's kind of like this conspiracy theory started, right? Which they were scared was going to ruin their reputation, and particularly the reputation of the city, not necessarily the airport. And so they started working on ways to dismiss this, and it wasn't working. So now they've decided to kind of embrace it, I think. And they keep sending out these messages through their murals and other artwork at the airport and press releases like joining Roswell as a supernatural sister airport. And so they find themselves partnering with some unlikely people to dispel this myth and to get the truth out there. They just don't want this myth there or this conspiracy theory there because they're worried more about people acting on it and maybe trying to do something dangerous. I don't think they would necessarily care about the conspiracy theory if they thought that it was just fine for it to be there. But like Pizzagate turned into something crazy. Um, this is, I think, what they're worried about. So I think a lot of people are hoping that it's true, but I think those that are taking it super seriously are perhaps, the people spending too much time on the internet and they need to move away from troubled waters because truthfully, what's going on is the devil energy is present with respect to the Illuminati question. And there's a bunch of mis and disinformation out there. I mean, it doesn't take long to find all the conspiracy theories about the airport, and there's more than the ones I just listed. So I think the airport again is working really hard to try to dismiss this because they fear for the safety. Yeah, they fear that they might lose some economic value. They also fear that they're not being perceived as being strong. So they want everything out there. And so they want everything to come to the surface. And they have everything they need. And they're working through some new programs to kind of dispel this. But the problem is with the conspiracy theory, you know, it's hard to prove something isn't true. It's much easier to prove something is true. So a lot of people will never be satisfied. It's like Roswell. It, Regardless of what happened at Roswell, we all have our thoughts and our thinking. I have a video on that here too. But um, even if it was something like a weather balloon, nobody's going to believe that at this point, right? You know, if it were at Roswell, if an alien spacecraft really did crash, the only way people are going to believe that is if they actually release the evidence. I mean, there'll be some people that will believe that no matter what, but to actually get everybody behind board, we need proof because it's been in the media and or not the media, the public eye for so long that, people have formed very strong opinions and they really couldn't be swayed one way or another. So, let's ask are extraterrestrials living underground at the Denver International Airport? And are they part of this, helping to construct a place where people could survive a nuclear war or some sort of apocalypse, some extinction level event? Again, I don't think it matters what people say. The people that believe it, believe it. The people that don't. And the only way to change people's minds for the people that don't believe it is to show evidence that it is true. And for the people that do believe it, I don't think you can change their minds. So, but that's just the way conspiracy works. Extraterrestrial. I feel like there might be some technology that's not used anywhere else there as far as the underground tunnels, but so you get the card for the greedy merchant or wish fulfillment. I think people wish that ETs would come to the planet and save us from some of the stuff that we're doing to ourselves through the governments. And perhaps that'll happen. Maybe the people and the environment around. People very much want this to be true, or a lot of people do. We had choices in the upper right. We get heavy burdens in the environment around. That's interesting. Now the devil card's at the center of the reading. Mis and disinformation, toxicity, the Four of Cups, the public being handed something, but them not wanting it, or at least half of them not wanting it. Circles of support and celebration. feel like this is the people that believe the theory that aliens are living there. We get the courts, the church, the Pope, and the environment around. And we get the Queen of Cups, empathy. So people are wishing that the misinformation is true because they're hoping that these extraterrestrials will be empathetic to the human cause and help out in some way. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't extraterrestrials. I'm just saying I don't think that they're at the Denver International Airport. So it circles of support and celebration for the misinformation, but it's still a choice, and people are just choosing to blindly believe it and blindly dismiss it. But the cards don't seem to indicate that it's true. Um, so the environment around those heavy burdens and the people being heavily burdened, and they're being heavily burdened because they don't feel like the courts, the church, the Pope are looking out for them, and they don't really want what's being handed to them. So this almost feels like it's a wish that it were true so that these extraterrestrials could reveal themselves at any point in time and put an end to some of the chaos. Yeah, like it would start some sort of new beginning where the world would be strengthened and be more just and the truth would be known. Now, as far as extraterrestrials go, I think the truth will be known at some point. Not sure when, but I don't think the cards certainly don't indicate that they're living in tunnels underneath the Denver International Airport. Okay. So what about this theory that this is a survival shelter for the world elite? So is the government or somebody else? We have to be a little bit careful how we phrase this. Is the government or some other group or individuals responsible for building tunnels and other structures underground that'll be used as a survival system because of a nuclear war or some sort of extinction level event? Is that true? I don't think so. I think the tunnels were just mistakes in the construction. There were a lot of mistakes made. See what the cards say though. I do think there are tunnels underneath the airport that aren't mapped. Well, I mean, they're mapped. People know where they are, but we don't know where they are. And again, it's a safety thing. The devil card again, though, mis and disinformation. Hmm. That's in the same location as the first question about the Illuminati. Circles of support and celebration. Guardrails, safety. The card for stability and the environment around. We get logic at the center of the reading. Okay. Bombshells and surprises. Complete and utter downfall, destruction, end of a dark cycle, or the end of a cycle. Thinking about the next generation and the mother reproduction, fertility, the image of the planet as the womb, I think is important here. This isn't, I don't think, as clear. So there's a lot of mis and disinformation, people thinking logically about survival and reproduction of the human race. People thinking, well, if everything goes crazy and you know what hits the fan, so to speak, there's some sort of logical plan and guardrails in place to protect us as a species. That's the thinking behind it. It seems very logical that the government would want to do this. That's why I added that fourth question. Is the government preparing this someplace else, perhaps? Do you get circles of support and celebration and stability, bombshells and surprises, and thinking about the next generation? Underneath, yeah, we have heavy burdens, acting stealthily. We get heartache. We get the government. Okay, this is what I think is going on, and we'll ask this next question. I don't think that there's a place underneath the Denver International Airport where this is taking place. I think it's actually a misinformation campaign that got out of hand and started turning into the Illuminati and other things. And the government was acting very stealthily because the burdens of maintaining such a place like this would be really hard if people knew where it was, because when the time comes and people are taken to these places, uh, you know, just like in the movies, all sorts of craziness is going to take out. People are going to be begging to get in. And so it's about the government. I think the government has something to do with this, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So, which does beg the question, has the government prepared for or is preparing for this deck? This is the unveiled tear. Is the government preparing for long-term survival underground if needed for humans? Government preparing for that? Priestess fell down. This is things behind the scenes that we can't see. And the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups both fell out. So empathetic leaders. Is the government preparing some sort of place in case of a nuclear war, a global apocalypse, some sort of extinction level event? The Page of Pentacles. And here there's a sculpture being revealed from the big chunk of marble. So messages about money, but I think they're being hidden from us. You get the Queen of Wands, fiery, passionate leadership, but it's like everybody's following the lead in the environment around. We get the Five of Pentacles being left out in the cold in the upper right. The Empress card again, creating roots, which happen to be underground here. Representing fertility, the next generation, reproduction, bombshells and surprises at the center of the reading. The Fool card, new beginnings in the environment around. This also just by the imagery, right? It looks like somebody's standing behind a podium with perhaps the presidential seal. It looks like there's tents in the background, like, military units. Um, it could be a leader, new beginning. Partnerships, romantic partnerships, anxiety in the environment around, and the Knight of Wands, fiery messages. So something about money, but it feels like it's hidden, supporting some sort of bombshell that if it ever gets out would create kind of a fiery type, like watch this guy jump over a canyon on the motorcycle type um, interest from the public. Romantic partnerships, which would be necessary for reproduction, and bombshells and surprises, and poverty and being left out in the cold. Then in the environment around, we have this new beginning. We have this focus on fertility and reproduction. And here it's like this is a camera, like they're filming a movie and the queen is telling them what to film. It's like preserving things. There's a lot of anxiety about this. Let's see what the shadow cards are first. Yeah, the Four of Swords, ill health, doing this stealthily, the Seven of Pentacles. And again, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles, which is about inheritance. And notice it's like she's surrounded by city buildings and the wealth is behind her. But you could also take this for like cave walls. I wouldn't be surprised if the government is in fact building something. I don't think that we would know about it. I think it would be kept a secret. I think that it would be close to an urban area because that's the only way you could respond to a nuclear war quickly. Um, but I don't think it's the Denver International Airport, which, by the way, is not really that close to an urban area. It's a good 30 minutes outside of the city. So, yeah, anyhow, interesting. All right, thank you for watching. I'll be back with another video soon.